Alright everybody, we have our semi-final Puszek Team versus two Bs determined, and right now with the draft starting up, the one thing that I have to say right off the bat is that Varian and also Samuro are both allowed to play. The one thing that is pretty important to note on the other hand though, is that Varian has just been out like for a day, and most teams have not really practiced with him a whole lot since everybody is currently preparing for the HTC qualifier, and in the HTC qualifier you are actually not allowed to play him, so the chances of him being played are pretty slim at this point, or of him having a huge showing here. I guess a few teams will experiment with him a little bit and probably see what they can pull off with him, but most of the teams haven't really practiced with him a whole lot since, of course, right now it's all about HGC 2017, and in that qualifier is not allowed. In this case, it's interesting that we start with bans on both of the CC tanks. Oftentimes you have a battle about like one or two of them. Sometimes a team is even able to lock both of them down, but we have Towers of Doom right now, and of course ETC, in addition to him being a great control tank, he also has Stage Dive, which on this map gains a little bit of added value, since on Towers of Doom, global mobility is absolutely, it's super important. It's one of the reasons where Puszek starts things off with a Brightwing here, for example. We have on the other hand TBD with an immediate go into Tassadar, which could already hint at the potential Tracer pick. They love to play that. But the Bees are kind of famous for having really unconventional drafts, and drafts that I don't even want to call it cheesy. They're just very special to them. They really like to think out of the box. And this is something that they could do here as well now with the Tassadar first pick. It gives them a lot of flexibility going into the second part of the draft. But with the two bans that we have here, you can already tell that this is also a game or a draft that is going to head into a certain priority on tanks. Because we still have a couple of options here available for the two. I mean, Tyrael, for example, is a really good setup. We can go for Johanna. But if Puszek at this point decides to not go for a tank, then TBD can just simply pick one, ban another. And they are very well aware of that. So that's the reason why they actually say, hey, listen, we are going to take Johanna right now, even though normally we would have probably taken a damage dealer here. But with Meridian ETC banned out and us being just the second pick right now, let's just not risk it before the next ban start. So with this being said, that's the Tracer. We kind of expected her already after we saw Tassadar. So the B is with the Tassadar Tracer composition. In this case, they still need to think about the tanks too, because right now, what do you play with this? Do you go into Tyrael? Do you just drop a Chen, for example? Puszek can ban after this, and they also have additional picks, so in the case that they even go for some kind of like weird double tank combo with a Johanna, they could even try to just like chokehold the Bees a little bit, so you have to be kind of flexible in that sense. The TBD already thinking about that now themselves. We are currently seeing them, as already mentioned before, just starting the game off right away with Tassadar and also the Tracer, which allows now Puszek, of course, not only with Brightwing and with Johanna, Shield Glare, try to work against Tracer, but they can even now pick on top of that additional heroes with good auto attack damage, for example, that are strong against her. So it's definitely not going to be the easiest Tracer game. If you show her this early in a draft, then your opponent can counterpick, and Puszek already has great counterpicks here. And TBD with the Dehaka very early here now too. So that allows them, of course, the global mobility that we've been talking about already when we were talking about ETC and about Brightwing. We have a false stat overall still available in the draft too, which would be an interesting pick also for TBD, but it would leave them in a pretty awkward spot, and I'm going to come back to that in a moment. We have seen Dehaka and Falstad a couple of times also at BlizzCon, and if you go actually in and you just go for the drag with Dehaka and then just use Gus to isolate the target, you can get easy kills there. And with both of them having global mobility, you are very good at ganking heroes. The problem that you have is if TBD picks up a Falstad, it either means that they have to play Dehaka as a solo warrior, or they have to play Tassadar as a solo healer. Both of which is kinda meh. So, yeah. Puszek is still scared of it, and they are saying, like, you know what, we're going to ban Abathur out, because first of all, double Tracer is cancer, and you can easily play Abathur plus Tassadar as the only supporters by just using Abathur with a shield build, which actually ADRD in particular has already done quite a bit. Now, Thrall is banned out here too, and Thrall has, of course, in the last patch also received a bit of an upgrade on his Earthquake, which we now see a whole lot more often. You probably encountered it a bit in Quick Match in Hero League and Team League already, but it can be quite strong. Not only as a potential disengage tool out of a back fight, but also because within the fight, if you use globals, or sorry, if you use AoE damage, you can do a whole much more with that. So, right now, we have Puszek with the Tigers. We have seen him already quite a bit. Of course, first of all, he's a tank melter and he can do an insane amount of damage. He also has pretty decent control on a map like this by just simply going for the drill, which you usually see. You can just simply interrupt every potential channel. You can zone opponents out, and normally if you place the drill right, you're always going to get value out of it. So a really important hero to pick up too. But they need a bit more than that. We could see a Liming, for example. You have a little bit more poke damage at your disposal. That is always nice on the map. We have seen Valas being picked a whole lot. The advantage that she has is that she has a lot of wave clear. But what Puszek does first is they want to secure another tank. Again, the tank chokehold that we talked about, ETC and Meridian both banned out. Now we have Zarya picked together with Johanna. It's a pretty cool comp that they have here. And how is TBD going to react to this? Because keep in mind, we still have Falstad around, but the problem still persists. Do they play the Haka as a solo warrior? You rarely see that. If they don't want to do that, then the choice that they have here, they could go into a Chen, for example, and just simply try to control the space with the barrel. We also have a Stitches here, which we have seen several times at a lot of these tournaments. But TBD, first of all, drops the second healer, and that's Lily. And with Lily now being picked, of course, we have the potential for them going into Water Dragon style. You can also see them again with the Jugs here. But Lily overall already a pretty annoying part of the game. Interesting that they're not going for any other healer in this setup, since there was only a Brightwing pick, no bans, no nothing. So they had basically the pick of the lot. But what's going to be... this is the one thing that I'm really curious about. What's going to be the last pick for them? Are they going damage? Are they simply saying like, the Haka Shakalaka, we're going to run it with him? Or are they just saying like, okay, we need something else at the front line and we're going to heavily rely on Tracer doing the damage here? I mean, I'm really curious. It being TBD, I mean, nah, they're not going to throw in a Medivh here now too. We know that they like to play crazy stuff, but they're not going to be that crazy at this point. So, last pick for them. And in terms of tanks, there's really not all that much around. Artanis! Okay, I would have leaned a little bit more towards the Chen pick, I suppose, but I am not going to say no to an Artanis. We have Artanis, Tracer, Dehaka, Lily, and Tassadar. This looks a little bit like a Meta Madness reverse draft, if you ask me. That's pretty awesome. Maybe like disregarding Tracer for a moment here. But yeah, that's actually a pretty sick... This can be scary. A Suppression Pulse with the setup that they have here. That's not too shabby. So Puszek, they need a bit more damage. They don't really have enough on the DPS front yet. So the big names that we have would of course be Boomvala and on the other hand Liming. Trying to get those two in here. What else could they play? Let's have a quick look at it. We could in this... I think those are the two best options. I'm not quite sure if they would really rely on the frontliner here, like a melee assassin, and they're actually going to the Liming. So this is of course a best of three. We're at the ZOTAC Cup Monthly Final, and guys, we're going to jump into Towers of Doom with a pretty sick draft already for the Bees. So let's jump in and find out who is going to take game number one. Game number one, ladies and gentlemen. It's the ZOTAC Cup Monthly Final, and we have the two Bees determined going up against the Puszek team. And to the left side in blue, it is the Bees, today joined by Smexy, a Fnatic player that is subbing in. We have Blade on Artanis, Smexy on Lily. Make Artanis great again. Dehaka played by Bad Benny, Nick on Tracer, and ADRD on the keyboard being on Tassadar. To the right side of the map, we're currently seeing Goetera on Zarya, Shibli on Tychus, Uberim on Asmodan, Taluf on Johanna, and Gromst on Brightwing. A big shout out also here to Heroes Fitness. You guys should definitely check out their Twitch channel if you have never watched them before. Basically exactly the Twitch username right there. So yeah, give them a follow if you haven't done that yet, and if you like to watch some Heroes of the Storm. And while we're watching Heroes of the Storm and talking about it, we're already seeing that Bad Benny's in a bit of trouble here as he gets hit by an Asmodan. And that Asmodan was not advertised. Am I crazy? Was that was not really the last pick that happened in the draft, right? I'm just now picking up on that. Okay, so did I just simply completely not realize that there was an Asmodan? It was a Liming, right? I'm not insane. Please someone tell me that I'm not already like that senile that I mistook like an Asmodan for a Liming. So apparently they misclicked in the draft, and since it was the last pick, they just asked the opponent, hey, Liming is Asmodan, are you fine with that? And of course there were no objections. And it happens actually quite a bit, guys. Some people might look at this and it's like, oh my god, how can you just simply change a hero? The important part to note is they didn't change a hero that was drafted in the middle of the draft but won at the end, and the teams, and especially in the European scene, are all they know each other quite well. So usually it's just them just talking to each other. Hey guys, are you fine with that? And then most of the time the teams agree. So we have an Asmodan in the game again, which of course changes things up a little bit here. But still, Uberim has decent poke. I mean, Li Ming, of course, would have been a bit of a different beast, I want to say. But at the same time, we are currently seeing with Asmodan a bit of the same utility. I mean, one of the good things about Li Ming is that she has, of course, a lot of tools where she can just simply poke and interrupt. Asmodan has the too, but on top of that, he might not be as mobile and as dangerous during the fight itself. But what he really can do is just push these lanes back, and especially on a map like this, it's really cool to have that, and also just that long-range bomb that you can use to interrupt. And we have already channels happening for both teams, so both of them just get shots fired. But it's really that third one that we now have down here at the bottom that's important, and this is where we see another set of shots fired against the blue team's core. So in this case, the Bees are suffering a few more points on core damage on the hands of Puszek, but they are ahead when it comes to the experience. And we haven't really talked about the builds just yet, and in particular Asmodan is really interesting here, because he did not— oh, Toulouf! Oh, Johanna down, as we've been just trying to talk a little bit about that E-build that we have on the side of Uberim's Asmodan. He went full for the laser, going straight into the Master of Destruction on level 1, and then at the same time now also having Gluttony taken, so a bit of the heals for Asmodan too. Pretty interesting to see that we have that taken. That will allow him later on to just laser down bell towers quite easily. So that's definitely quite dangerous. But it is, of course, taking a bit of that threat away that the Corps usually have. So you can still use them as an interrupt, but it's not really that big damage deal anymore in the later stage of the game. It's more about just interrupting in general. Another hero that we haven't really mentioned too much just yet, except for the beginning, is of course Artanis. So the amateur opponent, which doesn't really shock too much. It's one of the best level 1 talents that he definitely has. And those twin blades, oh, there we go already. Nice drag on the side of Bad Benny. Blade with a quick swap. They're trying to isolate him, but Brightwing is already on the point and makes sure that nothing happens. So with the Templar's Zeal, you have the cooldown recharging quite a bit faster. And I mean, all about your cooldown recharging or cooldown reduction. It's a theme that's not only on a hero let's say Artanis, but it's a theme throughout the entire Heroes of the Storm lineup. We see that with the battle momentum variations that we have on level 7, a lot of the heroes. And on Artanis, especially later on when he goes into the shield specs on 13 and 16, you see that quite a bit too, just trying to add to that survivability. Tracer, of course, just playing her usual self, trying to be as annoying as she possibly can. We're currently having Nick doing his best to take down Shibley here, going in for the bomb, and boom! To your face, my friend. Tyches is down. That's a 2-0 in kills on the side of the two Bs, as we again have the channel on the side of Bad Benny, and up to the top right, the zoning happening as Uberim is attempting to get the channel through. Nice polymorph, but Bad Benny comes in with a quick burrow, goes for the drag, and they're trying to isolate Asmodan again. Good swap here by Blade on his Artanis, not getting the kills secured just yet, but look at Terra who's in trouble. Zarya, no chance, goes down. Well played by the Bees. On level 7 now with Psionic Synergy also taken as well. There's the cooldown reduction that we've been talking about. And especially with the shield overload, that cooldown reduction is super important. 4 more shots fired, 32 against 28. There was 2 altars already in favor of the Bees. Puszek Team, the Polish team, now in a bit of trouble as Asmodan advanced his laser build with the level 7 talent. Went straight into the March of Sin here. And of course that makes a lot of sense for him now too, if you already focus on it. Lili with the Serpent build, going full Cloud Serpent on Arsene at this point. Level 7 talent on the side of the Arca, still not taken. He himself up at the top lane is now going straight for Constriction for the increased drag duration, trying to help a bit more with the isolation, and it's already coming in handy as they're going for Terror again. Zarya in trouble, gets sped up by Brightwing, but it's not enough to save her. She goes down. That is kill number 4 already secured. Nick on Tracer just zipping around. Went for the Spatial Echo here for the parting gift as well. And the Pulse Strike in regards to the talents. Brightwing at the same time going not for the normal shield build, or well, not normal, but you see that variation a little bit more often these days. The Soothing Mist range has been taken, and the Mystify 2 also super valid build, of course, no doubt about that. Having a maximum charge taken on the side of Zarya, hit me at the same time, all about the shields here that we currently have Zarya, which hasn't really helped her a whole lot if you think about it. I mean, the cool thing about Zarya is that if she's able to just like do her thing, she's really sustainable during these fights. But right now, with the isolations that we've seen, thanks to the Haka, she didn't really stand a big chance there just yet. So overall, the play that we have from the Bees is once again exceptional, and they're 1.5 levels ahead. They're definitely one of the teams that's very likely to make it into the league next year for HTC. Here they're showing their skills already at the ZOTAC Cup Monthly Final. Terror once again, a little bit on the run. Nick is already pressuring him. Smexy comes in. AD is there too, and it's the kill number 3 against Zarya alone, I think. 5 kills versus 0. Bell tower taken. They're not taking any prisoners here. I mean, Toulouse is trying to get level 10 for his team somehow, but that is so far not really working out well for them. Bad Benny pausing the game, apparently having a bit of a problem. But overall, these guys are doing really well. But Benny himself barely escaping up at the top lane, as you can see here. When it comes to the heroic abilities, we have now the Quantum Spike taken for the extra damage, Force Wall on Tacita, the isolation that we have on the Haka, and the Jug of 1,000 Cups, plus, of course, the suppression pulse on Artanis. And the entire setup that is happening here right now, with Smexy, Nick, and AD doing an excellent job at just like not only keeping Tracer alive, but also dishing the damage out. They are just going from altar to altar, and they have now a 5 bell tower channel happening thanks to Smexy at that bot lane. We're just going to reduce the points on the core down to 23. We're only 7.5 minutes into the game. So really well played here by ADRD's team, by the 2Bs determined. We have Expulsion Zone on the side of Zarya. We are seeing now the Dragon Laser Drill. We have the Demonic Invasion. It's really all about the pushing power for Oberyn here. But so far he didn't really get a whole lot done just yet. I mean, as I said before, when we were talking about him in the early game, one of the ideas that he has is really just laser down those forts and just like siege in. And that's what he's going to be trying to do. But at this point, as you can tell, he can't really pull that off completely. Bad Benny is also doing a pretty excellent job, just always making sure that he interrupts the laser when it's being used here. Golden Zarya is being used, trying to zone out those two. Yeah, they're not getting through just yet, but you can really tell that this siege up position that we have now for the Bees is incredibly difficult to deal with by Puszek Team. Puszek Team has played a similar game in the earlier stage of the tournament, and they are now giving a taste of their own medicine. So the siege is real. And with this, we're having still 5 bell towers in the hands of 2Bs determined, as they are just moving straight through the map again, controlling the mercenary camps, letting those push, pinning the opponent down. Brydun was attempting to help out up at the top lane, maybe get a kill against the Haka, and put pressure onto the lane itself. That didn't really work out, as you can tell. And Nick and AD are already going for the boss. The cool thing about it is, though, that we have Toulouse at the same time just sitting there and just saying, like, yeah, boys, you do the work, and I'm going to take over from there on. So that is actually sneaky. They're trying to sneak the boss in, but there's already the heroes coming to play. Uberim is on the move now, too. They're starting to jump in. It's 13 talents, on the other hand, for the Bees. And the boss is simply, yes, it's not going to be stolen away. They're simply taking on Toulouse with that condemn. Look at Bad Benny, the globe! Oh, he misses it, but okay. It wouldn't have killed him anyways. AD was ready with the shield. So, would have been a good kill for them, though. It would have been the first kill for Puszek Team. And a good one at that, of course, but did not happen. So with the level 13 talents, as I already said before, so they have another channel happening. So that's the first one that happened already at the bot lane, where the Haka has taken over. It's a 4 versus 4 shots fired, though, as now at the core of ADRD's team of the Bees is being hit as well. But the one thing I wanted to really talk about is also the phase pull one. So on 13 and 16, the standard for Artanis is really to go for the Shield Overlord talents, and then you just have a lot more survivability. And if you think about survivability in general, this team is insane. I mean, just look at this setup for a moment. We've been talking about it a bit during the draft, really not much just yet. Lily herself difficult to take down without a lot of lockdown. There's not really a lot available for the opponent's team. We have the Haka, who has, of course, like the Essence, which is able to give him life back immediately. He has also his Burrow, which is another survival tool at his disposal. We have on the other side Blade with his Faithful Walk, which is going into like defensive talents on 13 and 16. Then you have Tassadar. So there's basically heals and shields everywhere and escapes on every single one of these heroes. It's not really a surprise that there's not a single kill on the board on the side of the opponent. It's not only that they play well, it's also that this setup is incredible difficult to kill. It's really incredible difficult. I mean, like, who do you kill here? Who's your target? Think about that for a moment. Like, even if you are in a situation in which the fight can start, Artanis just simply goes in, starts to drop a suppression pulse, and all of a sudden most of the damage that you are trying to dish out is just simply gone. Especially with someone like Asmodan going into a push build more than taking any kind of like ability damage build. So right now, this is just incredibly difficult to pull off here. When we're looking at the damage output and also like healing numbers, you can already tell that Tracer is currently doing her job with 33,000 on the board. Tychus is of course attempting to do what he can, but he only can bring 20,000 to the game just yet. And then if you compare the heals as well, 67,000 heals combined already on the two. There's a suppression pulse as we see the engage happening again down here. Bell Tower is down, we have a triple all there, and down goes Tychus as they're moving in. Lily is just running around and it rains heal for everybody. But yeah, Lily is always looking a little bit stupid, a bit silly when she does that. She's like the arms in the air, walks around like she's throwing a bit of a tantrum. And everybody gets health. I'm not quite sure how that works. The mechanic is something they have to still explain to me, but whatever. First kill here for the saves! But yep, Terra goes down. The saves for a moment, but we still have that kill against Zarya. But we saw a kill still against Tassadar. So Tassadar dying here is the first kill that was secured by Puszek. They're trying to move Bad Benny back up to the top lane. But overall, with now even more altars being taken down here, things of course start to look pretty grim for Puszek Team. There's just no question. Blade is kind of low, but that doesn't matter. It's 5 shots fired. Then we have straight up towards the red core. Lily is going to take for another 5. There comes the globe. Smexy for a moment thinking about dodging it, but realizes it's not going to happen. So it's just moving in for that. That's another 5, and that puts us down to 9 points on the core for Puszek. This is a best of 3, of course. Keep that in mind. We're still here at the ZOTAC Monthly Final, and one of the big deals is that it's level 16 talents right now, and there it is. The shield surge now on top of it. We're also seeing BB with the Serpent sidekick, so even more Cloud Serpents for the team at this point. And we're seeing locked and loaded. Here comes the boss. Expulsion Zone is being used. They're trying to go on the point. Everybody's focused on the point immediately, trying to get the kill in. This looks like a slaughter. The boss has still not been taken. Terra's about to fall. Zarya alive? No, she's down first, but we have a kill against Tracer. The boss taken. The shots actually fired, and guess what? Shots are fired against the blue team's core. Puszek is stealing it away. They're winning the fight, trading 1 versus 2 and stealing boss with a talent disadvantage. 13 versus 16 talents. Really well done here. That would have been a really huge blow against them, and now all of a sudden they have a bit of momentum going for themselves. So do they? The drill is dropped as Fishplay is trying to take a stand here together with Brightwing and also Taluvan as Johanna. They are moving in with a couple of body blocks against Blade, but Atanis just has shields galore. And that bad boy just doesn't die. Swaps places with Fishplay. Here comes the suppression pulse. They're going in again. The blinker comes through, but down goes Tychus. That's the kill they were waiting for. Bam! They go for Taluv, the tunnel. Everybody is just going through the tunnel here. Smexy is getting lasered. Lily runs away. She only was looking for adventure, not for laser. The drag against Silverine as all of a sudden Asmodan is isolated. And a 2-level lead again as 18 is hit with a kill. The wall is down. Trump would be proud. There comes the globe. Taluv is dead. What a play here. Wow, that was like a 2-minute fight that we just had. And at the end of the battle, it's 11 kills against 3. Nick is one again, getting cheeky, moving deep for a potential kill with locked and loaded here. But it's another bell tower that drops, and that puts us into a situation where 6 shots can be fired. Smexy with an easy channel on the only altar on the map. and it's an endless barrage that just hits the core of the red team. And of course, up to the top lane, they're already having 3 heroes working on the last bell tower, which would start an endless barrage against the core. So at this point, down to the bottom, yeah, that's an attempt to somehow get this one. It's not going to happen. Bad Benny with the drag. Top bell tower has now been taken. Shipley, Tychus, and he is dead. Maybe not. Oh, he gets away. It doesn't matter though. The last shot is fired. Can you actually follow them? Does that work? Can you follow the shot? Oh, what? Asmodan! I was waiting for the last one to appear on the map, and Asmodan lays at the mid lane. Finally, that little bit of siege damage coming through after all. I mean, it's a bit late. They have only 1 point left, but, you know, better late than never. And yeah, at the same time, 21 on the opponent's side, so I'm not sure that's going to work out. There we have the Mercs. Oh, they stopped them. They no, they don't. They don't. It's over. GG, report Tychus. 1-0 for the 2Bs determined. Alright boys, game number 2. After Tychus kind of griefed a little bit at the end of the game and pushed the mercenaries into firing range, we have, I guess they wouldn't have won the game anyways, but yeah. We have Puszek now against the 2Bs again, this time on Sky Temple. The draft has just started, as you can see, and currently, of course, the Bs are in the lead. This is the semi-final of the ZOTAC Cup Monthly Final. So once again, Varian and also Samuro are both playable. But as we have the HCC qualifier coming up at the weekend and Varian just got released, most of the teams didn't practice on him a lot. We can still see him, but don't be surprised if we don't. I'm pretty sure that he's going to make his way into the competitive play. He's pretty good as a second tank and have like a good of a setup here. Pretty good setup actually for a lot of combos. But overall, there's a high chance that we're not going to see him too much just yet. We have an immediate ban on Tracer. So basically Puszek is saying, okay, listen, Tracer's just not going to happen again, forget about it. So they ban Tracer out, and well, at this point, TBD, they can basically think, well, do we ban one of the tanks? They actually do. I was just about to say they're very likely to not do that, since if they ban, let's say they ban ETC like they did, Puszek will take Muradin, like they did, and you know what that means? Yeah, no CC tank for the Bs. Then again, the Bs have always been a little bit crazy in that drafting. We all know that. I mean, there's a reason we call ADRD the mad scientist. So there's a good chance that we're going to see maybe a bit the Haka Shakalaka play. And told you. What was a very hard call. I mean, nobody saw that coming, right? So Dehaka again with the globals on Sky Temple. He's definitely the big winner of BlizzCon. He was able to make a huge amount of upsets happen. And yeah, TBD already starting the global fight. So they can go into Brightwing if they want to do that again. They can go into a false stat. Like, there's a lot of stuff that they can really pull at this point. If they don't want to emphasize the globals this heavily at the beginning of the draft, they can just like simply go into a little bit of standard damage here, of course. I wouldn't really be surprised if at some of these, in some of these games we are going to see maybe a little bit more Zeratul, maybe a little bit more Thrall. If you've seen these two heroes already being played after the last patch, then you know that they are incredibly strong. Zeratul has seen a bit of a shift around with a lot of his abilities, and is overall a very, very big nuisance to deal with. Thrall has a lot of utility now, additional utility on the potential Earthquake that we've seen quite a bit. So depending on the comp that you're running, you can get a lot of value out of that. So seeing a bit of a focus on melee assassins, maybe not this early in the draft, but overall wouldn't be too surprising. TBD right now, they let the globals go. As I said, they had the chance to go into a false stat. They had the opportunity to go maybe into something like a Brightwing. They said, all right, for now, Li Ming, that's what we're running with. They really like these snowball comps where Li Ming gets her resets. They played that in the past a lot with...
Congrats, Khaldor,
I still
on
don't
signing
really
with
know
NYI.
what's happening with that.
Have you told Fnatic yet that you are breaking up with them?
Okay, so, like, I don't know. Basically, Lamarca, thank you very much. I'm not quite sure, like, usually you have that overlay, right, where you see, like, the notifications, but for some reason on this particular screen it just doesn't work. I'm not 100% certain why. I have to double check that afterwards. But yeah, Glamarka, thank you very much for that. Again, I was talking about the snowball that TBD usually uses with their comms, or oftentimes, where they sometimes in the past picked Kerrigan. Right now, Puszek is making good use of what's left for them. They're saying, hey, we have Muradin already. We're going to get now, first of all, a hero that has global mobility, full stat, and we're also going to go straight into Malfurion. I mean, their setup overall is already incredibly strong. Let's not kid ourselves. That's really solid what they have drafted here. I want to point out on top of everything else that we have now a bit of a buff for heroes, auto attack heroes that have access to Seasoned Marksman. Since Seasoned Marksman is not going to be capped at 40 anymore. If a game drags you really out for a long time, and if you have a lot of wave clear in your setup, then you can get even more auto attack damage than that. That makes heroes like Reyna in the late game even more attractive. Same goes also for Fawcett, for example. Of course, reaching that late game is always then a little bit of a question, can you make that happen? On other maps, we could see that maybe happening a little bit more often. Let's say, for example, Tomb, where it's easier to get those stacks together. As we've been talking about Zeratul a lot, look at what we were just seeing being banned out here. TBD is immediately saying, hey, listen up. Zeratul is too annoying right now. He's too strong. Let's make sure that we are not going to go up against him. He can pressure leaving too much. We don't want to have that to happen. Count Kalak. Thank you very much, even though it doesn't work for some reason. Yeah. And we have again an Asmodan. This time for TBD and a Asmodan and Sylvanas. Alright, mate. Yeah, that's quite a bit of push power that we have there. That's the moment where Puszek Team is just sitting there says like, why me? Why us? Why? Why does this have to happen? This is like the comp that you see in a draft and you're just like, oh my god, even if we win, this game is gonna be just horrible. Puszek at this point has lockdown, they have damage, they need a bit of wave clear against this. And I think maybe a bit more mobility wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing if we have something that they could use here. So let's think about that real quickly. EDC is banned out, he could go stage dive. Brightwing was banned by Puszek themselves. They were attempting to make sure that the Haka is not going to be a bigger problem than he already is by being joined by a Brightwing whenever he borrows in somewhere. I'm currently even thinking about a potential for Gul'dan. Like, traditionally I wouldn't really say that this is like the best map for Gul'dan. Normally we see him on Infernal Shrines and on Tomb of the Spider Queen. In this setup right now, against that, I'm currently thinking if they might get some use out of him. He might be a bit too vulnerable against the Dehaka here. We don't have a heal yet for TBD on the other hand, so they will have to run the Dehaka as a solo frontliner. That makes it a bit easier for that. But they go into a Grey main, which on the other hand is also like a pretty good move since he can really push out a lot of damage on point. So he can really go in for an easy kill there. I would still really like them with another front... What?! Really? I don't trust it, but I like it. Okay, they go Nova. Let's assume for a moment this is actually true. Let's make that Nova pick a reality. So Nova is being picked here. And what is TBD doing for the last pick? Nova? How does that make sense? The Grey main, I like that. But I would have really said, like, let's bring something else to the front line. Let's get at least another heavy melee assassin. And there's Azul right now. That must be a trick. That must be a trick draft, right? I mean, a lot of this stuff I can completely get behind, but like the last couple of picks that we see here seem very odd. No heal on the side for TBD. Nah, there must have been like some kind of mistake. So I'm gonna let that stand for just a moment, and maybe we're going to see one of the craziest games that I had in quite some time. But on the off chance that that's actually true, let's go into Sky Temple. But we're gonna double check that. Alright guys, I have a bit of a surprise for you. The draft was real. Apparently the bees just said in the last game and they sit in draft and at some point, pardon my French, they just were like, okay, fuck it, we don't need a healer. Blade is playing Zul, but Benny is playing the Haka, 80 RD on Asmodan, Nick on Sylvanas, and Smexy, the sub today, is playing Li Ming, whereas Puszek is actually playing that Nova. Shipley on Nova, Uberim on Falstad, Gold Terror on Muradin. We have Toulouse and Greymane and Grumps on Malfurion. To say that I'm excited for this game would be understating things quite heavily. So yeah, I'm interested to see how this goes, to say the least. I mean, already a big trap to set down here at the bot lane. Unfortunately, it's completely ignored by the opponent, who doesn't care about it at all. Talent-wise, we have on Asmodan this time the Sieging Wrath going a little bit more standard. We're currently having also the long shots taken on the side of Nova. And yeah, okay, so let's see how this is going to work out. I mean, the Ning is being played already by Smexy, who's usually is a support player for Fnatic, as you probably know. ADRD up at the top lane has to deal with Go Terror, then the Dwarf is jumping out of the brush already. But yeah, there's not really too much happening here. ADRD rocking one of the best skins on Asmodan for sure. I mean, of course, yes, the basketball skin is pretty sweet, but Gul'dan Brodan, or however you want to call him, is pretty awesome as well. So yeah, so right now ADRD at the top lane, already putting the Dwarf under a lot of pressure here. And at the same time we have Sylvanas. And the idea basically that we already can see here with the setup is we have a ton of push on the side of the Beast. So they are splitting Sylvanas and Asmodan on two different lanes, so that it's very difficult to deal with from the Polish team side with all of that siege that's coming in. And then we're having also Blade just rotating between lanes quite a bit. I mean, he has one of the best wave players in the match with Zul right now. So wherever he is, there's going to be a lot of pressure. And if you join Sylvanas at that bot lane, you can just like execute a lot of pressure onto those structures while the opponent is focusing on the objective. So they are going to try and play around this. Asmodan himself already getting the shots up at the top quite easily. When Taluf is there, Sylvanas at the bottom on the other hand is taken down as we're seeing Nova going in. Hero killer number 1 in the game, of course. Blade finds himself in a bit of trouble, but thanks to his shade he's able to escape here for now. The level 4 talents are coming in for both teams. Asmodan is under some pressure. Bad Benny is helping him out though, using that global on the Haka. You see Army of Hell taken. And at the same time now also for False Stat, the Static Shield. And we're seeing the Covert Mission taken on the side of Nova. So an interesting approach here for Nova as well, going a little bit of bribe action on the map here. And giving her, in this case, a bit more utility, considering the playstyle that they are probably facing, considering the wave clear that we have right now on the side of the Beast. It's still a little bit flabbergasting that we have absolutely no heal on the side of Beast. That is crazy. But that pressure at the bot lane alone is already pushing one of the towers in. And we're seeing them just like going over to the camp. And I'm really curious to see how this is going to end up once that we have, like, let's say, an altar phase number 3, number 4 coming in when those temples are coming in, right? Because Bad Benny can stay at the top, can always go down if they really want a team fight. But if they're not team fighting, then they can simply push 3 lanes at once. I mean, they have the heroes in the setup to do that. I just don't see how they can take late game team fights. Early on, I really feel like the lack of a healer is not going to be this big of a problem for them. But later on in the game, it's going to become a massive issue. And especially after Heroics are in play. So right now, there's a 3-man top that we have, but there's also a bit of a trap being set since now 4 heroes are trying to converge onto that. And Snexy is joining the rest, so we have with also Sylvanas here. Now in isolation against Terror, nearly a kill. Triply trying to use the decoy as a bit of a block. Level 7 talent, a bit faster for the team in red as they are attempting to engage, but the Stormbolt is missed on Sylvanas. Nova trying to set up at the side, flanking in with some damage, never actually using that properly. Nick is being pressured, but oh, there's the kill. Nice Greymane confirming it after Nova misses the skill shot. ADRD also about to fall. Falls that even flying in to make it that double. Bad Benny is eliminated, and that was a 5 versus 4 that did not go all too well for the blue team. But it allows Blade to get some pressure done at the bot lane, and they definitely need to get some value out of him pushing those lanes back. He's attempting to just clear another wave before he moves back, and he really needs to be fast. That might have been one hit too much, because, yep, Nova's already there. They can false that. Blade is a bit too greedy, stayed too long, and that is going to be the demise of Zul. Taking that wave was just a bit too much. So Zul is dead, and that's 5 kills against 0. We're having also ADRD and Nick going for another camp, attempting to use that. Nova alone can't really deal with this. We're seeing when it comes to the talents now, also of course Wave Clear talent for the Haka on level 1, we're having now the Bound Minion taken as well, Army of Hell also in, so a lot of the trade focus, a lot of the push focus, pushing the W through as well. Whereas at the bot lane, it's still Nick being pressured. But a kill against Greymane up at the top lane here, apparently. So right now, Bad Benny has a bit of free reign over the lane, which is going to help him a lot to take down through the structures. And when we're talking about a map like Sky Temple, we of course always talk about the objective attacking structures directly. And that means that if you can take these structures without the help of the tempo, you can basically be on nearly even footing with your opponent, even though you didn't really go for the objective. And this is what they're currently trying to do. So they're going for a push at the fort, down at the bot lane, as you can already tell. Muradin wasn't even able to get that with the temples, but here comes a nice Mighty Gust, level 10s on both sides. The kill against Liming though. Smexy's down, precision strike to the face as Asmodan is dead. Bad Benny also dying. And that's now 8 kills against 1, a 1-level lead. And oh, a mule being picked up by Malfurion. I am liking it. I actually like that a lot. The mule pick here is coming into play for them and is working out nicely thus far. Usually it's a bit tricky. I mean, on this is definitely one of the better maps for mule. Like, rule of thumb, the maps where the objective attacks the structures directly are the best maps for mule. Because normally when an opponent's team is attempting on any other map, let's say for example, is attempting to push the like let's say Cursed. If they are pushing, usually they are going to destroy the structures or really pushing for structures and then switching lanes and getting the next one. But if the objective attacks structures directly, you oftentimes end up with structures that are only damaged 50% or even a little bit more or less, and then you can make these plays. Precision strike again, nicely dodged by the Haka. He might still fall here as he gets rooted by Malfurion. It's already the end of Asmodan, but also Falset has been falling. Terra jumping in deep, he can't afford to do so. And they are also aiming for another fort. But the pressure at the bot lane is pretty significant. With Nikon and Sylvanas disabling the structures and Blade clearing the waves away, they are just simply going through it. And they're actually attempting to go even for the keep now, at least for that wall, pushing that in slightly. Top lane, we have a similar setup happening. 12 versus 13 in experience or in levels. Another camp is being taken out too as they move back, and Sylvanas is starting to focus a little bit more on the mid lane. It's an interesting game for sure. I mean, it's a 1-level disadvantage we see. It's 10 kills against 2, but they're just like trying to cancel the way around the opponent. Demonic evasion is taken, and that alone tells you pretty much what's happening here. They're just trying to push the structures and go for objectives. The Haka is using his global to get a few shots down here. Falstad flies in, and nice dodge on the snipe. Bad Benny, you beast. Yeah, drag that decoy. Drag that decoy. And gets killed immediately by the precision strike. Shipley is having none of it. Nick with a good silence, but what? He survives Malfurion Moonfire! Oh, the kill at the top lane. Muradin is down, Greymane also dead, and Malfurion is just sitting there, that old geezer who's like, mistakes were made! Trying to run away, dropping a mule on the retreat. This ain't StarCraft, bro. The Mana Mule is not gonna help you there. The mule is down, so will be the fort in just a bit. And in terms of structures, we're basically, look at Blade! In terms of structures, we are more or less on the same level right now. Both of these teams don't have a fort anymore, both of them only relying on the keeps. I don't know what's happening here, but it's kind of fun. Yeah, the builds have also been all over the place. I mean, we're talking, of course, about Nova, and I feel we have to show a little bit more love. We have one in the chamber being used as a level 7 talent. We've seen already a few precision strikes, which was the talent choice on level 7, and now it's the double tap for the double pinning shot. We also have Running Wild on Greymane, who favored the cocktail build thus far. Malfurion himself actually going into the full Moonfire at this point, so trying to be a little bit more annoying with that now too. There's a bit of a fight over the boss that we have, but well, there's the split, there's the Haka, and the disengage. Still that level lead, by the way. We still have that level lead on the side of, yeah, of the thingy, the red team. And yes, Nova, wave clear hero number 1. Look how she's doing a great job, doesn't she? Pew! Pew! But they're going again. For Muradin. But he gets away with the avatar. So yeah, Nova is getting the temple at the top lane. It's not really your everyday sight. Like, this is one of those moments when usually starts you... Did you see that? Nick waved into the stun. Oh, damn. I think I was kicked out of that second game and ended up in a quick match somehow. Oh, Benny is dead. Oh, 12 kills versus 4, 60 talents. Moments like when the Nova is trying to just clear the way for something and goes for the pushing, the push build on Nova. That's usually when you hit that report button really hard. But the boss down here is still taking and is pushing in. And guys, like, considering the build that we have here, like, consider this again. We don't have a healer. On the other team, we have a Nova. And this is still ongoing. The crippling shot now taken, like, camps taken everywhere. Nova playing with a covert mission in this case. This game is getting a little bit crazy. Yeah, put. Yeah, I like it. Okay, so first of all, the idea is pretty cool. Push them into the precision strike. Nice setup, double kill. Cool, the cleaning job by Toulouse. But yeah, I liked how Falls that pushed them onto the merc spot. But of course, the idea was the setup for the Nova ult. So that was pretty cool. I mean, it doesn't really get much better than that. 3 heroes are dead. Falls dead. Gets Blade. That's gonna be fun. Blade. Ah, he gets away. Alright. Blade gets away. Bot lane, by the way, Dehaka is just saying, hey, he doesn't care. Dehaka shaka. Oh, he cares. Dehaka. No, he doesn't care. He was thinking for a moment if he should care, and he was just like, nah, I don't care what these plebs are doing. My team is throwing. Team. All right, I'm just gonna push the lane. These plebs are not worth my time. Okay, so we have basically camps pushing the lanes, but with that quad kill that we just saw, sorry, the triple kill, we hacked the red team really exploiting their advantage and saying like, okay, we're gonna get the first keep. So they push the keep up at the top lane. The idea still for the blue team has to be pushing these lanes. Get kills when you can, but the main objective has to be push lanes and just simply use that pressure play that you have. So right now we see them getting a couple of shots in here. They have 15 kills against 4. And as sad as that might be, I've seen worse in Hero League. So it might be sad, but yeah, this is usually the moment when you lead with your team and then somebody starts to throw. And already, Asmodan is on the way. Not to throw, but he is gonna try. Yeah, there's that demonic invasion. Yeah, get that wave there. By the way, guys, these guys don't care anymore if they die. He knows that he's gonna fall. The chances of him surviving here are slim to none. He's buying time. He's actually just buying time and trying to kill that thing. But the mule is of course going to be a problem. But during all of that, the objective is being taken. Asmodan didn't go down here expecting to survive. He actually went down here and was like, alright, I'm gonna die, but it's gonna be worth it. They just need to trade. Are you kidding me? How the fuck did you just die? Okay, Nick is on drugs. Like, Nick is definitely on drugs. I mean, did you just see that? Wave into 4 people. Mistake! The thing is, like, the mule is gonna get so much value right now. Look at that bot lane. That mule. This is like one of the moments where, like, Dehaka, can you please just simply burrow, like, here, move in, die, but, like, walk over and take that thing down. Level 20 versus 17. Yeah, I mean, the Clown Fiesta is real at this point. I guess these guys are having quite a bit of fun in TeamSpeak right now. Like, I can't imagine that the bees are actually looking at this and are saying like, you know, like you can't really picture them going full tryhard at this moment and being like, oh my god, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? You're throwing the game. No, they are probably enjoying themselves quite a bit here. I mean, it's still the semi-final, so it's a pretty cool attitude, I suppose, to have, to enjoy that this much, but not drafting a support definitely led them into a very interesting playstyle. So far it hasn't really worked out, mainly because that mule is really annoying them. AD Artie is very much alone there, but he's, yeah, might as well drop the demonic invasion. That cooldown is really all that long, so yeah, can pull it off. There we have at the same time now also a double temple active again. And this should really be kind of the end of it. Maybe not immediately, but this is really where it gets tricky. Yeah, Azul, look at Blade. He's going full Euro League here. He's saying like, yeah, I'm not going to play with you plebs again. I'm going to just push. Split push! where the rest of the team is flaming in. Flies in. Yeah, those are the plays that are like, there goes the ult. And immediately with a shade and boop, deleted. But at the same time, that allowed the Haka to go to the bot lane. Space created. No mistakes there. Space created, guys. So Bad Benny goes down to the bot lane, realizes that Merlin is a little bit stronger. That Dwarf is not only incredibly ugly, he's also incredibly strong. Uberine with the... Oh! What? Yes! There we go. Precision strike into nothing. Shipley is there. Wait, the laser! Laser beam. Sylvanas is dead again. Of course she is. Uberine with 30 hit points gets away. Like, what? Smexy, the plays! The plays! Okay, maybe no plays. 4 kills against 1. Everybody just gets to be that Uberim is dodging in the globe. And now we have 2 temples firing. 2 keeps are already down. Can't believe that Forza survived the first one. Like 38 points. Level 20 any moment. Come back, boys. 6.5 out of 10. Just you wait. When they hit 20. Yeah, we get a power spike when we're on 20. Just you wait. Alright, but this one is probably dead too. The last few shots should be fired any second now. Ta-da! Oh, yeah, there we go. Okay, so it's down to the core. It's down to the core, and the boss is there. AD, RD, a man on a mission. It's all about the Asmodan. It's all about the dunk, bro. And, well, they're trying to go for it. Everybody's low. It's a 4 versus 2. No problem, right? Silence is there. Tseloof! Yes, come on. Where's that globe? The boss is there. Ah! ADRD. I'm disappointed. Like, nah, this is like, where's that globe when you need it? Alright, so the boss is there. And it's like, this is the moment. This is the one chance. Wipe them, kill the boss, and go for the people. Something like that. That's what they have to do. Easy peasy. Alrighty, so the boss is there. Fight is already starting. Here comes Forset again. Yeah, goes in deep against Blade. Blade who? Exactly. Smexy with a shot attempt here. Smexy, you need to go back to Malfury, my friend. Sylvanas is... How often did Sylvanas die? 6 times in the Haka, 8 times. Maybe I thought it was the other way around. Oh, Nova is dead, and so is the boss. This isn't over yet, guys. What is happening here? It's 3 for 3, and the dwarf is still in play, and he's just like, alright, I'm gonna go back now. Yes, the hits against Smexy. Oh, it's Smexy going full tryhard on the dwarf. To loop. Oh, where's the Asmodec open? You need it. AD, come on. You need to be a point. Where are those 3 points? Oh, the catapults. Yeah, the kill. The double kill. Oh, terror. Well, that should kind of be... Yes, demonic invasion. Hop, little dwarf, hop. That's going to be game, guys. This is going to be a 1-1. The tie is there. GG Sky Temple is won by Puszek Team. We are going to see a 3rd map between these 2 bad boys. Okay, the last game was, let's call it special, but we have a 1-1, which means that we actually see like this deciding game in a intense and yeah, in an intense best of 3 series where we have the best Heroes of the Storm play of the weekend. Not quite that, maybe. But okay, Puszek is banning out the Medivh. There is a reason behind it. It's not like they are just going full Clown Fiesta and rolling the dice here. They actually know that ADRD and his team, they love to play on this map with the Medivh. They actually play Medivh on a lot of maps, but it's one of the go-to heroes for them for sure, and therefore it's something they just don't want to deal with. We have TBD with an immediate lockdown on Malfurion, and so this time they're going to play with the support. Just wait until they lock in 5 supports or something. I seriously believe that at this point we're probably going to see both teams a little bit more try-hard. Would be surprised to see Novas now in the setup, but, well, not calling anything yet. The Meridian first pick is happening again for Puszek, and we are also seeing them running with their Tychus again. They're really loving to play Tychus. He is one of the best picks that we have for most teams right now. So let's see how TBD actually reacts to it. Starting things off with the Malfurion allows them to go into any kind of like comp with a Vala, with a Li Ming, like whatever you can do with cooldown reduction and mana regeneration is working quite nicely. We have at times seen that also played with like Chromies in certain setups, but overall when you're looking at Tomb of the Spider Queen, oftentimes Vala or Li Ming are go-to combos for Malfurion. So it's just that added wave clear that you have, which allows you to get the objective a little bit easier. Then again, TBD was always a bit special. If you didn't figure that out after the last game, then I can't really help you. But they could also theoretically head into something along the lines of a Sylvanas first of all. I still believe they do combo something off of the Malf, but the Sylvanas on this map is strong. Zul as well. They played with a bit of push, and Gul'dan of course also kind of excels. As I said it, I think in the second draft that Gul'dan these days is actually incredibly strong and played a lot. Also, big shout out to Dignitas who kind of popularized the hero a lot heading into BlizzCon. Now we have him played on Infernal Shrines and Tomb of the Spider Queen quite frequently, and on Tomb here, TBD already locking him down with the Johanna for the added wave clear. So they are already going straight into a game where they have a lot of wave clear locked down for themselves and can add to that with also a Vala or Living, depending on whatever Puszek is going to ban out and take for themselves. And when it comes to bans, right now, there's not really a whole lot that he can actually lock out for Puszek. They should really look at heroes that they don't want to face and ban those out. And apparently, the idea is to just get rid of a couple of the damage dealers that have also AoE support and then pick up some for themselves. I wouldn't be shocked to see Puszek heading into a Li Ming. If you ban out the Vala, pick the Li Ming for yourself, try to get that in. You're starting to limit your opponent's options a little bit. TBD is adding with the Sylvanas already to that particular setup. Of course, with now so many heroes being in the game, there's always going to be options. I mean, even if a Li Ming gets taken by Puszek now, TBD could go into a setup with, let's say, for example, Greymane. They could go into, I mean, double mage is not really all that common. We don't see it a lot, because it's very cooldown heavy and based around your cooldowns, and that can cause problems. But we have seen Jaina's and Kelthas being played on those maps again. There's the Li Ming as expected. We could see a bit more of a poke game for TBD with Lunara, even though I don't really expect her to be taken in the setup now for them. But there's other stuff like a false set that you can still take. I mean, his Boomerang build on level 7 has still enough potential to burst the wave away after he got a couple had a couple of stacks, so there's a lot that you can do with that. And also on this map, if you go into, for example, an auto attack season marksman build, you can get those stacks together quite fast for Reyna, for example, or for Falstad. So both heroes would also work for the setup that TBD is currently running here. They have their cooldown-based mage already and could add a second one. And so far, that's not really too much like backline engage that we have for Puszek. I mean, Meridian, of course, is always a beast, especially after 16, and he can make that jump into the backline. But if they do that, they need to have another frontliner for themselves as well. Again, Thrall an option as a bot laner, of course. He's a very good solo laner. We've seen Leorix on this map too. Both of them very solid choices as the second tank if you want to play it. With Thrall, or like the second frontliner, with Thrall you have a good bot laner that can rely heavily on the chain lightning, has a lot of self-sustain for himself, and then later on can use that newly improved Earthquake, there it is, or if the situation arises, go into the Thundering, which is a little bit more old school than the normal build that we see on him, trying to get that set up and maybe an isolation kill. TBD, they are in a position where Gul'dan doesn't really want to be the solo laner if he doesn't have to. He can definitely take that role, but you want to get the stacks for your corruption usually if you go for that build, and so being part of the rotation helps you a little bit more to get the extra stacks in, so you're faster with that. But depending on the setup that you're running, you might be forced to put Gul'dan onto the bot lane, but it's not always the ideal scenario for him to be there. So TBD might actually look at another hero that can also take over the bot lane in such a setup. They also, right now, only have the Johanna at the front line, and it's kind of likely that they are going to add to that. We have seen them in the past with a lot of Karrigan play. They could play with the Karrigan here too, try and get that engaged together with the Condemn, and then Karrigan following up with a combo. We've seen them a little bit earlier already with the setup relying on even Artanis. There is a couple of options that they still have if they want to go into a double front line, and they played actually with an Alarak. So Alarak played over the Karrigan, so to say. I mean, he fills a bit of a similar role in that sense. He's that engagement tank that tries to, sorry, not tank, but assassin that tries to go in and get, of course, a quick combo off. and get the damage behind that. Quick silence in here too. So Alarak can be very dangerous for that. And the false stat. Okay, so I'm really curious to see if false stat is going to make good use of that newly improved Season Marksman, which was already a thing before the patch, but is now, of course, gaining even more value, especially on a map where you can stack so much more efficiently than on other maps. So let's see how TBD is actually going to play that. Puszek, on the other hand, they need, well, a support. And right now, you have a few choices still left. Mainly Brightwing, Oriel, the Oriel Ming combo, of course, very often played. Also with Tychus, you get good energy for her. And I guess if you don't go for those, you could also consider playing a Vega here. But it is the Oriel comp, so yeah. Game number 3 is going to decide the winner of the best of 3. Here at the semifinals, so let's see which team moves forward to the grand final. Let's jump into Tomb of the Spider Queen. Game number 3, everybody. We had a very special game number 2. Things are a little bit more serious right now. Serious business. We have to the left side, the 2Bs determined. We have Blade on Alarak. We have Nigun Gul'dan, Bad Benny on Johanna, Smexy back on his main role with the Malfurion, and AD currently using Falstad. And to the right side of the map, Gotera on Murder as the frontliner for Puszek Team, the Polish lineup. We're having Uberim on Tychus, Gromst on Oriel, Toulouf on Thrall, and Shipley on Li Ming. So the winner of this map in particular is going to make it to the grand final of the ZOTAC Cup Monthly Final. So let's see how that's going to work out. First of all, level 1 already, we have the power conduit taken on the side of Alarak. We have the Echoed Corruption. It's kind of expected for Nick. I mean, he's going to try and go for the corruption here, trying to get that damage in, and those stacks on his cooldown, already throwing those out. And when it comes to the talents, I guess like one of the things that we definitely have to highlight about Spell is that Season Marksman was actually not taken. The talent got buffed in the last patch, but we have False that's still relying on that Gathering Storm build, which helps a little bit with him just going for even more wave clear. But in this particular setup, you can of course not benefit from that newly found auto attack damage without a cap on Season Marksman. So right now we're having also in terms of the talents Swift Sweep taken, but we're having the teams. Oh, ADR actually in a bit of trouble here up at the top lane. I was about to say that both the teams have started with their rotations between mid and top that we usually see on this map. The solo lane has been taken by the 2 melee assassins. Thrall is currently dealing with Alarak down at the bot lane. And Alarak is going to fulfill a very similar role to what usually Kerrigan was on the side of the Bees. Going for that heavy engage and just trying to get that combo off. Terra waiting for the opponent. Well, maybe... Yeah, he actually overextended in the sense that he went too deep there, but he thought he could get a little bit more value out of waiting in that steam lane over there. And just like stormballing someone into the ground, then opening maybe up an opportunity to get the target. Did kind of underestimate the damage output that would happen as soon as he would be revealed. So now we have, when it comes to like the stacks on the side of Gul'dan, him already at 11 stacks, which is actually too shabby. So this is a bit scary. I mean, 2 minutes into the game, already having 12 stacks there, that's pretty good. And if that's any indication, that damage is going to increase very fast. I mean, the Gul'dan player that is able to get that stack completed after like 5, 6, 7 minutes can do a massive amount of damage over a game. Gul'dan on this map already excels either way, but at this point Nick is doing a fabulous job of pressuring the entire setup that we have in the rotation for Team Puszek. So yeah, that's definitely not easy to deal with right now. At this point, we are already seeing down to the bot lane, still that battle, but Toulouf is already pushing those a bit back a bit easier. Eats the entire combo now here though, but as you can see on the tower ammunition is already slightly drained for the blue team, so they have to be careful with that. In the same setup, still seeing the rotation happening in the mid lane. And I mean, with the rotation right now, this is like one of those moments where you are always trying to see if you might be able to maybe get a kill. And once again, Oriel is low. There's the root already following, but this time Smexy misses. Gromst is able to get out. Gotera jumping away. Bad Benny holding 29 gems needs to be extremely careful that he doesn't get taken out. We have 16 already on the count for Gul'dan, so Nick is doing very well here. And that power spike that he is going to hit once that he gets the stacking process completed is going to hit Puszek hard. Of course, it's all about the first turn-in for now. But Bad Benny is already waiting in the brush here. He still has those 29. He needs to be careful, but as long as he keeps the cooldown on his Iron Skin available, he should be completely fine here. Smexy also now being pushed back by Gotera a little bit, but it's just a dance around the turn-in points. Blade and Toulouf at the bot lane are just doing their thing, and for them, of course, surviving is just all that counts. You just have to make sure that nobody gets ganked, that you always call properly when someone is missing, so that nobody can go in. And Gul'dan at the top lane had a bit of trouble. You might have seen it at the health bar. Uberim and Gotera were trying to go for it. Nick had to really rely on the life drain to survive here, but he's able to escape either way. So all good on his end. And he has 25 stacks as is already. So he is doing incredibly well with this. We're seeing Blade and Toulouf currently down here to the bot lane doing their thing. Bad Benny's moving in again. Blade is already there now too. They're starting to jump straight for a potential kill against Thrall. Now that didn't really work out for them, but still it was kind of a close call here for a moment. So Thrall going back for just a second. We have still up at the mid lane Nick rather low, but he's on 26 of his stacks, so he's going to complete that very soon. Both of the teams now on the level 7, and we have the Skullcracker again as the talent choice for Meridian. Not going into his cooldown reduction, but instead, oh nice, good hits here, 29, very well done. Corruption, the Corruption Master, that's what Nick is currently going, and he is doing really well with that. So yeah, Nick is actually playing an absolutely incredible game when it comes to this. I'm a little bit scared for Puszek because they're going to eat a ton of damage. AD Artie, the only one not really going for any kind of stacking. Up at the top lane, we're having Tyke is in a bit of trouble. Yeah, Condemn reaches him, but yeah, Smexy for just a moment, a little bit zoned out. The Uberim gets away. 31 stacks already for good old Gul'dan. And both of the teams still waiting for the first turn in time. Blue team turns in first. Falstad flies down, tries to get the kill against... Oh, if they take down Toulouf, that would be fantastic for them. But Blade can't get close for the combo. That would have been a really dangerous spot here for the red team if they have to deal with the Web Weaver wave. Lose Thrall just before the Web Weavers arrive, and then on top of that lose 25 gems. That would have been a total disaster. That didn't happen, thankfully for them. But right now it's going to be a massive push up at the top lane anyways, and with Gul'dan just doing his thing, this is going to fall. They're going to go through this. So right now we're already seeing a little bit of a hope against Terra, who jumped in and Smexy was attempting to root him down. Gul'dan is just hitting those waves one after another. On 37 points, Falstad flies in, damage against Uberim, but nice job by Auriel healing them up. The wall is gone on the other hand. Okay, I'm not putting that back. In the mid lane, well, forget the mid lane for a moment, because up here the fight is not over just yet. Another corruption, and Gul'dan might actually be done. Nick is going to get that out in a moment, I suppose. Yeah, he needs one more stack and then he's golden. So right now we already have him. Quest nearly completed, and then we're going to have a very annoying setup in every single fight for them with that potential damage output. Just in time for the level 10 as well now. So they get the first turn in, they get level 10 on the back of it. They still are only half a level ahead, so at least Puszek did a decent job defending. They lost towers at the top lane, didn't lose structures at the bottom of the map, and in the middle it was only the wall and the towers that fallen either. So right now the job or the task for Puszek is to first of all get level 10 without losing anybody. Hello Auriel! And just as I was about to say, they did just such a good job. Double kill against them. The turn-in is there, but that turn-in is not going to do jack shit, pardon my French. That's not going to do anything. This is like the worst case scenario. Not only do you waste your turn-in, because let's face it, these Web Weavers are not going to be assisted by 5 heroes, even with the low death timers that we have here. But you lose a couple of gems as well. Yeah. This looked really good for a moment, but at this point, it really doesn't. I mean, up at the top lane, you can see that one of the Web Weavers is nearly destroyed. Alarag is still dealing with the bot lane. They're just rotating into the middle right now, taking one after another down. We have the counter-strike for Alarag, basically. And by the way, a bit of a panic button here for him as well. And of course, it's a decent damage dealer on top of that too. But yeah, with this being said, the Web Weavers are more or less already destroyed. Uberim is still there, but the entire stacking process for Gul'dan is done. Alarag, with his endless energy that he has here, is also doing fairly well for himself. Yep, that might even be okay, going for the Aegis, but Terror is able to get away. Bot lane Web Weavers have been destroyed too. An entire level disadvantage that we are seeing right now. 50 against 52 gems. Can turn in again. The combo against Meridian, and the kill, well done. And they dropped everything on him. I mean, we saw the roots coming down from Smexy, the combo from Alarak immediately also, the corruption from Blade. They just left him no chance for escape here. Toulouf is just poking the bear at this point, trying to get a couple of like quick chain lightnings in, but realize that with his 41 gems, he's better advice to just like stay back for just a little bit and make sure that he doesn't get taken down here. So Blade is still dancing around, and I mean, he is just like trying to push this lane back a little bit more, get the damage in against Thrall and pressure him. Because at some point they're going to collapse on him, and Toulouf needs to stay in range for experience, but he can't move farther out than that, not with the amount of gems that he's holding. He needs to be very cautious, and as a melee assassin, it's not really the spot where you want to be in. He went as expected into Earthquake, kind of a new talent choice for him here. It's a great tool for disengage, and that additional slow, or the slow plus the additional damage is actually like very solid here that we have right now. At this point, the Web Weavers are going to wreak havoc. Thrall doesn't want to be in the position where he needs to be so careful. He wants to be in a position where he can go absolutely ham, but if he dies and they don't collect the gems back, then they are more or less already on path south, but at this point it looks very grim anyways. The level 13 talents are already in play, and they are starting to jump in the entire time. Yep, there's Grom, Supreme, Triply trying to defend a fort that they will never be able to hold. Down at the bot lane, a combo misses. Blade is attempting to just somehow lock down Thrall again, but Thrall sees a chance now to go for Bad Benny once again. Feared as well, going for the Horrify, securing a potential kill against Mirrodin, and yep, there it is. Not even the Earthquake could do anything about that. Well done here. This is brutal. Down goes the fort. That's fort number 2 that has been eliminated. It's a 1.5 level lead that we're seeing right now. And there, Tigers. Okay, he's on his mount already. Alright, so with him on the mount, he's able to escape, but they are completely on the back foot now. It's really difficult for Puszek to make any kind of play here at this point. They have 78 gems that they hold. The problem is that we nearly have enough gems for another turn-in on the side of the bees. And they are guarding that bottom spot with Falstad. AD already is there, and his only job right now is to make sure that there's no turn-in. There's an engage attempt up at the top. It's 13 versus 13 talents, so it's a chance that they have right now. Giant Kill has been taken. Toulouf is there, gets healed. That drained the energy on Oriel already, so it doesn't have any energy left at this point. 55 gems, 5 missing for the blue team to get another turn in. They're attempting to moving in again. Bad Benny moving in. Egg is being used. Yes, isolation, and Mirrodin silenced, and it's the kill. The tank is down, the drill is gone. Once again, Gul'dan with corruption everywhere. They're going for Uberim. Toulouf, there's the fear against Toulouf. If they get him, it's all over. Oh! They don't only get him, they kill at the end also Tigers. Falstad sacrificed himself for it. Puszke was actually jumping in, and look at that, they got the gems. They got the gems at least. Puszke moves in with Li Ming and gets back, actually even using... Did she even use at that point for Wave of Force for a moment? The turn-in, on the other hand, is going to be confirmed for the blue team. I mean, they have by now enough gems for that, and they even try to time it together with the boss. They actually speculate, and they think that right now the red team is so scared that they won't even attempt to go in here to do anything, so they are not going to try and go for any of the turn-in points. Yep, there we have a bit of a peek to see what's happening. The boss is about to be taken, and here's the attempted turn-in on the side of Oriel. Falstad, mighty gusts her away. ADRD, the beast, the turn-in can now even be completed for the blue team. They don't even do that, they see a kill potential, and they go for a kill against Uberim. Tigers is down, the boss is moving through the top lane. They can get a turn-in too if they want to, and right now they are just easily going for a push against the first keep of the game. They have the talent advantage, they have the force pushing, they have a 5 versus 4 situation happening here, and they might even be able to get an isolation if they have another Horrify set up properly by Nick. And Nick has been playing a fantastic game on his Gul'dan so far. If you just look at the damage output, he's at 43,000. Eclipsing everyone else, Li Ming too. Horrify has not been used yet, but could be if someone just moves a little bit too far out, and he will see to check out if there's a chance for him to do that. And the lockdown after that with Alarak following the combo would of course be there. They don't even need to waste any cooldowns though, the keep is falling either way, and it still allows them for another turn in. The Web Wave can be confirmed, and then they can go straight for keep number 2, while the original top Web Weaver is going to push straight for core. So an exceptional game here on the side of the 2Bs, and they are really looking like they will move on towards the final, unless, of course, there's going to be a big team fight victory on the side of the red team. And their only hope now lies in level 16. They want to get the level, the even level. They want to make sure that they get level 16 so that they can fight an eye level with the opponent. But once again, there's a camp that has to be taken first, and they're able to actually lock that down, but they need to escape here. Once again, the combo. Falstead with the attempt to go for a quick gust, but needs to be careful. Flies back, gets healed. Smexy with good reactions here. And also Taluf with an immediate earthquake. That was actually potential for an insta-kill against Falstead. Didn't work out in the end, but definitely a nice try. Terror jumps in, and now we have the heavy impact. And it's finally an engagement stun that they can use, but it's all over as he gets Aegis and dies anyways. Or does he? Tries to escape here, might even. AD already goes in, doesn't confirm the kill. Groms, on the other hand, on his Oriel, went a little bit too far out without the tank to really backing Oriel up. She is dead, but Muradin survived. And Tychus looks like he could fall too. Blade with a double combo. And then kill against the two of them. It's a triple overall. Oh, baby. 11 versus 1 in kills. And this should actually conclude, if not the game, then at least all 3 keeps falling. Trishbley is attempting to just poke them a little bit. Yeah, Taluf and the Thrall can maybe try to see if he can land a chain lightning or two, even drops like the earthquake to slow them down, slow that onslaught. But another keep has already been destroyed, and they are, of course, attempting to finish the game at this point. Or are they? Yeah, seemingly going for keep number 3 and to say, guys, death timers are not high enough just yet. So let's make sure that we are, for now at least, just simply go for those. So yeah, at this point, we're having immediately all 3 keeps eliminated. And that, of course, should conclude the game with another red giveaway. The more serious part is that we have level 20 versus level 16. That's a 4-level difference. Make that 3, I suppose. And we have, therefore, at this point, the hasty bargain. I mean, why not? We have also Haunt taken on the side of Gul'dan. And Epic Mount alone is already going to be a bit trick. Interestingly enough, we have Johanna not even bothering to go for Indestructible. Storm Shield in this case is also a pretty decent setup, let's be honest about it. Storm Shield can really decide over the victory in one of the fights. There's a couple of AoEs that we definitely have on the side of the opponent. I mean, Li Ming alone already with the damage output and the tools that she has here, but also the Earthquake that is being dropped during these fights. If you can get the extra shield, that alone is really going to be nice. And we didn't really have as much of a focus on tank as you would expect. So Indestructible is not really something that you are for. The roots are there, the combo is strong. Aegis dropped, and Taluf might survive, gets healed, but Falstead flies in, gusts out, and this is goodbye. 1 kill, 2 kill, and with Falstead dying, yes, there's a counter kill at least there, but this should still be the end. Muradin is eliminated. Bad Benny all the way up at the front. Uberim is more or less given up already, is not even trying to move away here, was just simply trying to at least get a trade for the, his death. That didn't work out, so it's a 4 versus 1. Shipley just like jumping away, and I still have to give a bit of a shout out to Nick here, who did an incredible job on his Gul'dan. Very well done. Of course, also made possible by that front line that he had there that always supported him. And yeah, with that we have the 2Bs determined, moving on towards the grand final of the ZOTAC Cup Monthly. Congratulations and well done, taking out Puszek Team with a 2-1 victory.